Hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm Jessica Abernathy, and with me today is Trisha Montgomery, and you are listening to Pets Are Family. Hi, Trisha. How's it going?
Good, Jessica. How are you?
I am not complaining today. Not complaining.
I'm not complaining. It's a good thing. I'm going to complain, though, because my internet keeps going in and out here. And then I dropped my mouse on the floor and it busted. And so it's been one of those days that you just say, gosh, I wonder if I need to start over, maybe get on the other side of the bed. But everything else is fine.
Right. And we're such techie people. We both know that I'm not techie.
So much more technical than I am. And you have a husband who's technical. I have me.
I'm not a techie person at all. It's not.
And my calls to you. And my calls to you and Joe. So thank you so much for your Joe. Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. It has been a week. It has been a week. A lot going on here. A lot going on here.
Yes, there is. There's been a lot going on. So what's going on with you down there in Florida?
You know, I am about 3 weeks out of getting my pup. I'm going to start training him, or actually training me, this coming week with the beautiful Jackie Schimmel, who is she was actually one of my Canine Fit Club certified trainers, and she was our master instructor. She's CCPDT. She is Clipper, Karen Pryor, Clicker certified, many certifications behind her. So we had a talk about me getting a dog, and she said, you know what? Even though you kind of know what you're doing, you need to be trained first before you get that dog. So this coming Sunday, I'm driving to her, and she's actually going to train me without the dog. And then she's got like 1 million dogs, Thea, and I think there's just a ton of them, Turbo. And so I'm going to start training myself to get ready for this dog. And then she's also going to school me on products that I need to start purchasing, what I need to start doing for my house now, and making sure that I am puppy ready.
Nice. So you're going to take videos for us so we can share it with everybody?
I'm going to be sharing with you, Jessica, and this audience, not only going to be sharing so for training purposes, but actually some laughter here, because I don't know what I'm doing. It has been quite some time since I've had a puppy. My daughter is, been a long time since Gabrielle had a baby in the house either. So this is going to be very interesting for all of us. I had been at my friend Cindy's house. We had her on our podcast, Cindy Briney, and I was just babysitting her puppies, Harlow and Mozart. And waking up every morning at 3:30, sleepless nights, I think, maybe coming a little bit. So get ready for that. But I am so looking forward to doing this and actually doing things the right way, because I think even me, and perhaps even more so with me, I think I know what I'm doing. You know, like, okay. I know everything. I know how to do that. And I don't. I do not. And I think everyone needs to have some kind of training and setting up for success. You know, I don't know everything. I think that sometimes we think that we do. And it's like, well, I've had dogs before. I know what to do. But the bottom line is I don't. And I think I want to make sure that I set myself up for success, and the pup, whose name is Murphy, by the way, Murphy Montgomery.
Yay! I love the name. I love it. Murphy.
So I want to make sure that we set us both up for success, and what I'm looking forward to it. And I think our audience will, I do things, I'm sure I'm going to do everything wrong, and Jackie will tell me that, but it's going to be interesting to be on this journey. But today we are going to be bringing on Devin DeVoue. He is with Volition Veterinary, and he is the marketing manager. And I love him. You know, I love him. I find him incredibly fascinating. There are always stories He shares with me the books that he's reading. He has been in the pet industry and within this profession for a little bit over 10 years. And we're talking about really pet cancer, early detection, and really finding out about him as a pet parent and learning about what pets are family, what that means to him. So let's bring him on.
Yep, let's go get him. Let's go, go, go.
Hello. Hi, Devin. How are you?
I'm good, Trisha. I'm good. How are you today?
Great. Good to see you. Good to see you. I see you got the colorful shirt going there. Got the flowers.
Yeah, you caught me. I thought if I'm going to show up on a podcast, I should switch out from the T-shirt that I was wearing earlier and put on something with buttons, which, as of someone who works from home, doesn't happen often. So I put on my best button shirt for you, Trish. Just you.
Why? I love that, Devin. But why buttons? Why do you wear? Why buttons?
I think it's a mindset thing. I think if I put on some buttons, right? I still have on basketball shorts, so I'm totally a fraud from the waist down. But I figure if I put on some buttons, it puts me in a good mindset. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if that's what is a placebo effect, but that's what we're running with. That's the rest of the running theory right now. So let's do it.
I'm going to have to explore that a little bit further because I've never thought about that. And so the next podcast, I'm going to try a button shirt and see if
yeah. Like you usually see me in a hoodie or a T-shirt. That's when I'm like working or I'm designing something or writing something. But when I need to look presentable, I put on my good earrings and I put on my good earrings and I put on a collared shirt.
Okay, good. Then we're matching then today.
I like those.
Mine are a little bit more jangly than yours. Jessica, what about you today?
I'm the same. I'm always pretty much in a sweater. I'm pretty much the same. I'm always in a sweater and I always have earrings on. So, I got mistaken as a boy at a very, very young age because I always had short hair. So I always have dangling earrings on. Big, big dangling earrings always. So
well, there's something for that though, because who is it on Bachelor in Paradise? Brandon always wears long and I just admitted something. I do watch The Bachelor and Bachelor in Paradise.
You just told on yourself.
Brandon on The Bachelor in Paradise actually has long dangly earrings, and he's bringing a comeback to men in earrings. What do you think about that Devin?
I've got some dangly guys, as I call them. I'll put those on. It's hard though because if I'm with friends, there's no real need. I struggle with finding a place to wear them. If I'm in a professional setting, it's like I don't mind. Like I don't. It doesn't bother me. But I just feel like I'm wearing a suit and I'm wearing like a whatever, and then I just got like a 9-inch cross like hanging from my left ear. What's that going? Like what's that look like? I produced at Justin Hill College. We did our scholarship gala, and when the pandemic hit, we kind of panicked because we had to do an in-person event virtual. So they brought me in, and I produced the whole thing. I hosted it, and then when we did the replay, they said, "Can you come in and do the intro?" I said, "Absolutely." And so I wore a dangly earring for that, and I was putting that on I'm designing a personal portfolio website, and I'm putting that up, and I was just distracted because I talk with my head a lot, and you just see this guy. It was like a pendulum swinging, just going back and forth, and I just couldn't stop. And I said, "Yeah, no, we can't do it. We have to be strategic about where we wear dangly earrings." But I'm for them. I've got both ears pierced. I've got dangly earrings. I've got studs. I've got the gold hoops. I'm in it.
I love it. Jessica gets on to me a lot because I don't sit still. And Jessica's like a statue where I am all over the map. And I have a very difficult time simply just sitting still because I want to use my hands. I want to move with my body. So I don't know if unless I'm super glued to the seat, that's the, kind of that dangling thing as well. Not the same, but earrings versus your body. I don't know.
Well, you know what? So I've done a number of, I don't know, I've been in maybe 20, 25 musicals and stage plays. And one of the first directors I ever had, he was like, "Devin, I love your delivery. What you've got going on is really good. Can you stop moving?" And I said, I said, "I didn't realize I was moving." He said, "Yeah." And it's something that, especially when you're on stage, you're always swaying and you're kind of just, we all do it. We just don't realize it. So he taught me, he said it's vulnerable to sit still because, it's just you, right? He said it's vulnerable. So just be more vulnerable and you'll be able to sit still, or develop like little devices. So like right now, I'll be able to sit still because I've got my arms on the armrests. I'm like leaned kind of to the left, and now I can sit still. But if I had to sit up straight, I'd be bouncing. I'd look like the old remember the old DVD screensaver that would bounce from screen to screen. That's what I would look like if I tried to sit up straight right now.
I do. Oh my God, Devin, you just gave us some pointers and we didn't even realize it. And I just want to point out something else. You had a very kind of a powerful, life-changing role as, what was it, Santa Claus? Was that correct? And you felt very powerful in that? And you were
I think he shared that with us in a meeting that he didn't mean to, because that's just going to come out
public.
With public. Come on now.
It's public. Again, at Chestnut Hill College, I did, like I said, I did a ton of musicals there. And they said, and I've sang it, and we have this big, the college is really big on tradition. And so every year we have Carol Night. Carol Night's actually coming up in about a month. They usually do it the week in between Thanksgiving, like when the kids come back from Thanksgiving and before they go for Christmas. And the day before is Christmas decorating night, where each class takes a section of the college and they decorate it. They're sequestered in that section. They decorate it to their own personal liking. And then how it used to go was that they would then sort of whenever the seniors were done, that was your timeline. Whenever the seniors were done, they would all gather all the other students and they would go then to the president's house, bang on the door, and sing Christmas carols. The next day was Carol Night, where we would have the actual singers do it, and it's a Christmas concert. And it called crescendos to Santa. And I've been there a few times. Like I said, I've sang there. It's all good. And then one day I get a call. I'd graduated 3 years before, and I got a call and said, "Hey, Devin, it's David Sampson, the music director. I was wondering if you'd be interested in performing at Carol Night." I said, "Say less. What do you want me to sing? I'm down." And he said, No, you're not singing. I thought you'd be a good Santa." I said, "Me? I don't know that I'd be a great Santa for a few reasons that are pretty obvious." And then he said, No, I think it'll be great. I think you'd be great at it." And so I said, "Sure, why not?" And so I get there and I'm sequestered. No one can see me. I'm sequestered in an office for the hour and a half of this Christmas concert. And then I have a handler, and I get the like, "Go for Santa." And then they open the door and I walk out and I've got my Santa garb on, typical Santa stuff. And I'm walking, and I've never, like I said yesterday, I've never felt more powerful. I'm walking through, and that's just parting like the Red Sea. Kids are like, "Wow, he's amazing." And you have to walk down these steps, like these rotunda steps, and the awe of I could have galvanized these people to do anything in that moment. I feel like there was so much power in the room of doing it. And then it was a great time. I had to memorize about 27 kids' names and to, shout them out. And then they took me to a separate room, and got for 2 hours, kids sat on my lap and told me that they wanted, I don't know, a bike or a pony or something.
I love that. Oh my God. Thank you for sharing with us, because we heard a little bit of that yesterday, but obviously heard that more in depth today. Oh my God. Totally see you as that. I love learning more about you. Devin, tell us right now, we're Pets Are Family. You are with Volition Veterinary. Talk about your role at Volition Veterinary and what you guys are up to there.
Sure. So, and by the way, I will share those Santa pictures with you guys.
You have to.
They're public.
Please
they're
do.
out there. I can't avoid it. But at Volition Veterinary, I joined the team in February of 2022. And at the time, we still are. Our core is research. And as we were starting to expand our audience, from scientists and investors to practical use audience, veterinarians and oncologists, I was brought in to sort of move the move the ball forward, as they say, in terms of outreach and sort of smoothing out some of the rough research edges. If you let a scientist talk in public for too long, you'll get half the audience who's like, wow, that is way over my head. And you'll get half the audience who feels embarrassed that they understood maybe 5%. So my job is to take that and synthesize it, and do that. From there, we launched with IDEX and we launched with HESCA, and towards the end of 2022 and the beginning of this year. And from there, it's been about expanding the reach. What we do at Volition in terms of, our emphasis on our current screening product, and early detection is incredibly important. And I was most excited about the opportunity because it's a new field. And I've been in animal health for about 10 years. I was at Zoetis when we launched Simparica and Simparica Trio and ProHeart 12. I was at VIP Pet Care when we first started to, now Pet IQ, when we first started to expand our reach, when we acquired, I can't think of the name of the company, but when we expanded our reach through acquisition and also through what I did, spreading the good word about community vet clinics and what they could be. So oddly, and almost serendipitously, I've been at the forefront of some changes in veterinary medicine. And so, working with VIP, I know how that feels from the pet owner, pet retail side, and working at Zoetis, I know what that looks like from the pharmaceutical veterinary side. And this is a nice meshing of those two worlds, because cancer is a scary word. People are often turned off by it. People immediately go into crisis and catastrophizing mode. And, as Dr. Seuss says, cancer doesn't always mean a death sentence. And I think it's equally important in the terms, in the spirit of being holistic about the conversation, to look at it from both ends, right? And for me, it was really important, right? You want to make sure veterinarians know. And where we're going now is ensuring that pet owners know what the part that they can play into it. It's not just, I'm going to go to my vet, they're going to tell me what's wrong. And I guess when they say nothing's wrong, I guess I'll see them again in a year. Pet owners can be advocates for their pet's health, right, even if on small and large levels. Doesn't always have to be an ultrasound. Sometimes it could just be, hey, what's that? Let me just check that. Doesn't have to be every annual wellness check. Sometimes it could be, hey, I saw this thing. Should I be concerned? And having that conversation. And that's really what we're trying to do. Broaden the conversation around animal health, the lens of cancer and early detection screening.
Devin, from a standpoint of cancer and Volition Veterinary, right now you all are a sponsor of Moose's March, and what our efforts are for that. We're focusing on canines right now. Can you tell me what's happening in the future with regards to felines?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So one of the things that, as shepherd of the new QVet brand, is preparing us for our future. Taking what the scientists tell me about our pipeline, research ongoing, and preparing us for that quietly. And one of the reasons why I think it's so important to focus on canines is just our current product is the new QVet cancer test is a canine cancer test. Canine cancer. Well, yeah, it's a canine cancer test. And so, so I want to focus there, but also as I mentioned, what are the other health implications of screening, right? I think there was some data. Some data about how pets are becoming more obese, and how that's probably an issue. As I look at my dog, who's laying belly up on in the hallway, and I think that there is a greater engagement for pet health, and I think that if we attack the conversation, meeting pet owners where they are, it sets us up so much better to integrate new products. So we have a feline product that we're also working on. There are a large number of cats in the United States, and there's a lot of cat advocacy groups, right? And the opportunity that I see here is, of course, you have your domestic cats, right? You have your cats that are indoor. You have cats that are outdoor. I have an orange tabby porch cat who is at my front door right now. But then you have so many strays. right? And there are so many like advocacy groups for strays, like TNR hospitals and things like that. So I think our feline cancer product will be so impactful in reaching them. And again, in the terms of pet owner advocacy, couldn't tell you when we did Revolution Plus with zoetis, couldn't tell you how many vets would say, yeah, they don't bring their cat into the vet. They think they're healthy. They think they're perfectly fine. And the important thing for me is if we can set ourselves up as a thought leader in veterinary health, we can have those conversations as a valid source and say, no, actually you do need to bring your cats into the vet. You actually do need to, do some of those preventative care things. Last data through AVMA said that, an overwhelming majority of dog owners also have cats or vice versa. So there's synergies there, right? So now it's about looking and making sure that the family stays together, which is really important for us.
I love that, the family staying together. Devin, what I guess a couple of questions. The first one is, as a pet parent, what are some signs that I can look for, or if my canine is behaving, what are some things that I can look for to say, wow, he may have cancer? What are some of those?
So it's an interesting way that you phrase that. And I'm going to pull that back, right? Because you exemplify what the natural thought progression of a pet owner is. If I see a change, oh no, my dog has cancer, right? So, right. So that's really good that you framed it that way. What I would say is pull it back, right? Dogs are creatures of habit. So are we, right? So I know that it's 1 o'clock. It's around 1 p.m. Eastern right now. In about 4 hours, my dog will start circling my desk like a vulture in a desert. Okay. Looking for, hey, I think it's time for food or a bathroom. Something's happening. Right. Mm-hmm. If my dog can recognize when we get off this call, I will say, all right, I'll see you guys later. And my dog will trot into the room because that's what she's used to hearing. So dogs are creatures of habits. And they pick up on our, nonverbal communications. And I think we need to be more in tune with them. So that's everything from their diet, right? You have to be very mindful about the food that you feed them, certainly table food versus actual dog food, and how they're eating. I know that my dog sometimes, for reasons I can't explain, will just take a mouthful of food and put it to the side of the bowl, eat everything else, and then eat that. But if you have a dog who eats their food in 15 seconds, and now maybe they're taking 2 minutes and they're stopping and they're waiting, maybe that's something to take a look at. So diet is one thing. Activity levels, right? Are they a little lethargic? Are they tired? What's the vibe? Or is the tail wagging as much? Are the ears in the right place? Things like that are in behavioral changes are things that you can notice. Hey, something's going on. Let me monitor it for a few days and then call my vet when I need to. So I would say that I don't jump right to the dog has cancer, but in the interest of taking a look and at some of their behavioral changes, you want to monitor those things. Now for the physical, this one's pretty easy. Lumps and bumps. You want to do lumps and bump checks about once a month. If you're like me, you're constantly touching your dog and going, What's that? What did you step in? What is that? Where did that come from? Did you bump your head, et cetera, et cetera? So you want to take a look at that. Give your dog a once over. And if there's anything that you question, call your vet. I think that's the most important thing, Tricia, is that a lot of pet owners are searching online. They're searching forums for information about when they should do things. And I don't understand what this means, and I don't want to take my dog into the vet. And the thing that I always tell my friends who are becoming dog owners and things like that is, don't be your vet is not out to get you. Your vet is trying to help, right? And you likely are not a medical professional. So what you want to do is leave it in the hands of professionals. If you have some electrical work, you call an electrician. Very simple. If you got a question about your animal, take it to the vet. They're the professional. They'll be able to tell you what's going on. And the long-term ramifications far outweigh, any short-term inconvenience of having to get to the vet in a short turnaround.
Right. Dr. Google's not the way to go.
Yeah.
No. And listen, it's so funny you say that. So we had, I did a market research project earlier this year, and I found you just jump on Reddit there are two forums, pet owner or three pet owners, Ask a Vet, and then veterinarians. And the stories that I would hear or that I would read are heartbreaking. There are people who just are absolutely lost. My vet said, or, I noticed this, but what should I do? And they're sort of crowdsourcing this very impactful decisions. And I love democracy, but yikes, if my dog Ava had something going on, I'm not jumping on www.anything other than my vet's website to book an appointment. You know what I mean? Right. But I also understand where they're coming from. So I think it's a dual conversation. Tricia, you asked me what we're trying to do at Volition Veterinary. And I think to add another layer to that, we're trying to bring vets and pet owners closer together.
Right.
We want vets to use terminology and to speak into terms that pet owners can understand. We want pet owners to walk away understanding, knowing what the next steps are and understanding them. And most importantly, I think, understanding their place in it. So things aren't happening to them, but they're an active participant in all of this. And so if we can be a conduit of that conversation, the nexus, if you will, I think that then I will have done my job. We will have done our job.
I love that, Devin. I really love that. I think Jessica and I have talked about this before. We did a podcast called Things That Make Us Go, and that the world of Dr. Google and the people who claim to be experts and have that professional opinion. And I think there's even a TikTok store or whatever that, you've got people who are claiming to be veterinarians or cancer specialists or oncologists, and they indeed are not. As a pet owner, Devin, how can I decipher? I mean, what tools can you give us from deciphering what's real and what's not real?
Yeah, so it's, again, really great question, because in that research that I had looked at, TikTok was one of the case studies. And we watched a video. It was really funny. I put it on for the vet team, and we watched. It was a TikTok that was about 2 minutes, so 2.5 minutes, so much longer than a TikTok usually is. And a vet was she started with. Like you want to give your dog, raw food diets. And she was going on and on and on about diets. And the vets in the room you could hear their eyes roll into the back of their head. They were so dismissive. And at about the 1.5 to 1:45 minute mark, she starts like, yeah, so, but the best way to do it is to do some screening and yada, yada, yada. And I included that in there because how many people are making it to the 1:45 minute mark of the video? And so what I always say is I am a data nerd. I love numbers. I love learning. I love data. More importantly, I love validating. And so if you see something, if you're reading an article, check the references before you make a move. It's very simple, but check the references. If you see pet obesity going up, click the link. See what they're talking about. Check your sources, right? You want to make sure that your sources are valid. And also you want to make sure that you're going through the whole thing. And if there's anything in there, again, I'm going to circle back to it. If there's anything in there as a pet owner that you don't understand, or that you think that you want to interpret it this way, or you're thinking about changing something significantly in your dog's diet, please call your vet. Please call your vet. I have seen friends' dogs. They were doing brand A on Monday, and then they switched to brand B on Tuesday, and they're wondering why their dog is diarrheaing throughout the house. And because we can eat differently, but dog stomachs may be a little bit different. So just call your vet. And I know that's scary, but there are so many options for vet medicine now. Telemedicine is becoming much more available, right? You don't even have to go into the hospital. There are apps that can help. I was having a conversation with our chief medical officer, Dr. Heather Wilson-Roberts, yesterday about how we can be a part of this through AI integration. There are so many articles on the human side, and now it's trickling over to the vet side about how surgery is being improved and post-surgery action is being improved by the use of artificial intelligence. And so, and there's a multitude of other studies that I won't bore you with on AI and how it relates to healthcare. So there are options out there. You just got to go look for them. Yeah. And I know that seems like a lot of work, but it's a quick Google search honestly really is a quick Google search on how to validate and where to learn more and to speak to actual professionals is the best way, because Trisha, Jessica, you guys have seen thousands of products come through through animal health. You've seen trends. You've seen this is the primary focus right now, and you couldn't tell me where those products are right now. So there's always trends. There's always the hottest new thing, and veterinarians, if nothing else, are incredibly good at cutting through the noise on that kind of stuff and personalizing your care. So don't be afraid of that. It's okay. Don't be afraid to talk to someone.
I love that. Not go back to that Reddit forum or that TikTok ad and see about contacting them for sure. Oh my goodness. So let's take us back to early detection. I really would like to find out, as a pet parent, when can I detect cancer? How does it work? What happens, and what's my next step if there is perhaps cancer detected within my canine?
So again, a great question, Trisha. You're speaking like a trooper. It's almost like you read our materials and said, what are the things as a pet owner that I would naturally conclude? You're hitting on all the beats. So I'll give you a brief look at how cancer screening works. Okay. So there are a multitude of cancer screening tests. What is sort of in vogue right now are what are called liquid biopsy tests. That is those are screening tests that work off of either urine or blood are most common. Saliva also can be, but that's not really what we're here. But if you Google liquid biopsy, you'll see that. How our tests specifically work. Well, there are a number of liquid biopsy tests, right? You have our tests, which is looking for plasmanucleosome concentrations. There are other tests that are next generation sequencing, and so on and so forth. None of us can tell you that your dog has cancer definitively.
Okay.
None of us can do that, but that's okay. That's fine, right? Because these tests are designed to screen healthy dogs. Okay. And so you have to understand, if you're going into a vet hospital with the dog who is just doing laps in the parking lot because they were so excited, and you do your screening test and it comes back, looks a little high, or cancer signal detected, or whatever the case is, that what you have is time. What you have is proactivity instead of reactivity. And that, I think, is so much more important than waiting until it's too late, waiting until they're showing signs, And so, as far as our test goes, you're bringing in a healthy dog, you're getting this test done. We don't want veterinarians to jump right to the ultrasounds and to the X-rays and to things like that, right? We want them to put that in the context of what else is happening, what else is going on, right? For instance, our test is fasted where other tests aren't. So what if a dog had some, to calm him down, dog had some treats or something like that in the car just to cajole them into the back of the minivan, and we kind of and the pet owner flippantly forgot, and the vet tech forgot to ask. We want them to take that into context, ask the right questions. Was the dog fasted? Those behavioral things that I was talking about earlier, Trisha. We want to ask, hey, just out of curiosity, have you noticed anything? You want to do a full panel. That's where cancer screening is most powerful, in context with a full panel, right? So you're looking at the blood work. This is a little high. This is a little abnormal. And then you start to do it, right? The best way that I can say, Trisha, is that cancer screening is not the answer key. It is a crucial piece. It's the corner piece of the puzzle that you can never find. That's the way I say it.
Would one day, Devin, would this test be included just as a natural when you go in for your annual exam? Do you foresee a time that this would be included, the pre-cancer test, the early detection test? Could you see that?
1,000%. There are some hospitals around the country that are using the NICU vet cancer test for screening as a part of wellness plans and routine, care and things like that. Already, right? They're already like, hey, you're getting your senior dog, panel. So let's go ahead and do a CBC. Let's do a urinalysis to the fecal, and let's do the NICU. So that is 100% the direction that our partners are going to be going in the future. And there are hospitals who are already using it like that. And I think that is the best use of it. I think it, as speaking to veterinarians, I think it's the best use of a cancer screening test because, again, it contextualizes it. You have a little bit more data to make the next decision, and that's what we're trying to get. We're trying to give you more data to make precise decisions around something that where timing can be very crucial. And so, yeah, you absolutely can include this in wellness panels, and it's already happened. I think it'll only grow from here.
This is I mean, I could talk forever about this. I want to talk right now about Ava. Tell me about Ava.
Oh, Ava, listeners, you're gonna love or hate this story. So I adopted Ava about 8.5 years ago, and she was not my first choice.
Does she know that, Devin? Does she know?
I tell her every time she does something wrong. No, I'm kidding. I kid. No, so I'd gone into the shelter. So I bought a house in my 8 years ago, and because that's what you do when you're an adult, I guess. And I bought a house, and I'm living in the house alone. And I said, I need a dog because I'd been in animal health. If you're an eagle-eared listener, you know I said I was in animal health, but I've only had Ava for 8.5. So you're probably wondering, hey, Devin, what'd you do for that other year and a half? Well, listeners, I lied. I lied about having a dog. I had about 300 dog names in situations that I would use so that I didn't seem like a fraud in animal health. And eventually, I said, I think I'm running out of names. It's time for me to get a dog. So I go to get Ava.
We're finding out so much more about you, Devin. I love this.
Listen, pets are family. Family is honest with one another. Okay.
Yes.
So I I did so much research. Actually, I went through 1,000 different animal choices. I was going to get a pig. But then they're illegal within Philadelphia city limits, which is where I live. So I couldn't do that. Livestock was out. I ran the gamut. And then I said, dude, just get a dog. It's so much easier. So I go to ACT, the Animal Control Center in Philadelphia, and I go, and it was I did a once around, right? I researched this dog. He was an 18-month-old blue-nosed pit bull by the name of Kane. And I said, I got to have this guy. So I went in, I did like 40 minutes of playtime with Kane. And I said, I need this guy. But I am a measure 4 times cut once kind of guy. And I was like, let me sleep on it. I should have done it, but I said, let me sleep on it. So I come back 2 days later. It's a rainy day. ACT has a small parking lot. I promise you all this context is necessary. ACT has a small parking lot. They have 2 entrances. I come into one entrance, another car comes in the other entrance. There's one spot, and it's like rainy. I have an umbrella. I'm like, you know what? You guys got it. So I let this car go in, and then there's the longest line for adoptions. I'm like, whatever. I'm like antsy. I'm like, let's go. I'm so excited. And I'm standing in front of this couple, and the guy goes, thanks for letting us go. I'm like, oh, I was you. No problem. And so we get through the line works down, and there were 2 adoption agents on opposite ends of the room. We both sit down at the same time. My adoption agent says, so who are you here to adopt? And with the biggest smile that I could conjure, I said, I'm here for Kane. And you hear her little keyboard clacking, and she goes, the 16-year-old Chihuahua rescue? And I said, no. This is a blue-nosed pit. He's in the back left. She goes, should we go through every version of Kane? And then she goes, let me just ask. So she stands up and she says, I'm sorry, what dog are you guys looking at right now? And the couple turned around as if they were in a Mentos commercial. And they go, we're going home with Kane today. And my spirit was crushed. Okay. But at that point, I'd already made the decision that I'm leaving here with something. Okay. So she said, she didn't know what to do. She said, do you want the Chihuahua? I said, ma'am, I do not want that Chihuahua. No offense to Chihuahuas, but that's not why I'm here. And so I said, okay. She goes, anybody else that you thought? I said, no, I'll take a look at Ava. And so I go to Ava's kennel, and Ava's jumping around. And again, I'm very downtrodden. And I just looked at Ava and I go, do you ever sit? And her ears perked up, and she sat down and she just looked at me. And I was like, all right, you're selling me. So then we go out to the play, and we play for about 10 minutes, and we're having a blast. I'm like, okay, fine. Let's get Ava. right? And so the next 3 days, I was incredibly nervous because, once you adopt a dog, now you have to have a dog. And I was so nervous. And I go to act on Sunday, and and I'm sitting in the waiting room, and it's so busy. And in a crowded room, Ava runs directly to me from across the room. And I was like, yep, this is the right choice. So I will say it was fate, it was luck, it was serendipity, it was all those words. She wasn't my first choice, but she was the best choice that I could have made because she's so intuitive. It's like having a non-verbal. It's like having a person in my house. We get each other so much. It's great. It really is great.
What kind of a dog? What kind of dog is Ava?
She's a pit bull. She's also a pit bull. She's a red nose though, and she's a little bit smaller than the 18-month-old blue nose male pit bull was, but she's great. And it was important for me because pits they're just big goofballs. They're just kind of goofy. They just want to know where the snacks, where's the toys, and where's the bed. That's kind of it. And if you can nail those three things, they kind of just hang out. They're also and they're very in tuned to emotions. Ava I can give Ava a face, or I can just shake my head no, and she's like, got it, say less. And so we're very, very locked into one another. She's great. She's been with me through a lot. It's like she's I think she's 10 now. My vet said that she was senior last time, which we should talk about in a second. But yeah, no, she's great. She's like a puppy.
Oh my God, I love that. I love that story. I love everything about that. I love you though too. So
100% true story. And I'll add a post-credit scene onto that. Because I was so nervous around this time. For the first 6 years that I had Ava, I got her adoption day wrong every single day. It's July 10th. And I said, and I would celebrate. I mean, I would have cakes. I'd get her a little party hat, July 12th every year. And I went to go look at some paperwork one day, and I said, "Is that the 10th? Huh? Look at that." So this year we celebrated proper on July 10th.
Well,
that's cute.
You know what? You have 364 unbirthdays. And only one birthday. So then why not have an unbirthday on those 364 days? In my opinion, you can celebrate every day.
Honestly, I at least owe her 8 months of actual birthday dates because of for the 6 or 7 years that I got it wrong.
I love it. Oh my God. Devin, this has been delightful. First of all, we're so honored and happy that you all are one of our partners, one of our sponsors, Volition Veterinary, for Moose's March. That is our charity for Pets or Family. Moose passed away of stage 4 lymphoma, May 14th of 2022, and we're really focusing on early detection and giving more quality and hope and time with our loved ones and those pets, and making sure that we can find out early and give them some, provide more resources for them. So for that, we're so thankful for you and your team at Volition Veterinary. Gosh, learning more about you, it was fantastic. Just loved it. Loved everything about it. Volition Veterinary is one of our partners, our sponsor for Moose's March, and we are focusing on early detection and providing support to pets and their people in need. Tell me, Devin, how can people get a hold of you if they want to learn more about this free cancer test? How can they find more about Volition Veterinary, the company, and maybe contact you if they have questions?
Absolutely. So I want to say thank you for having me. I love talking about this cause because I think early cancer screening is a new space. It's a new opportunity. But it is so important and it's so impactful, and it could change so many lives. And I say that adopt it into your routines. Like I said, continue to use it with wellness, with other wellness blood panel work that you're doing. If you're vets, if you're a pet owner, go out and ask your doctor about it and learn more. Where can you learn more? Well, you could follow us on Instagram at Volition Veterinary. You could follow us on LinkedIn as, Volition Veterinary. And there, you can learn anything from, some tips. We've got some really, really fun stuff coming up for Pet Cancer Awareness Month, where we're going to go every week. We're going to go through a different machination or a different area of cancer. We're going to dispel myths. We're going to talk about the importance of canine cancer screening. We're going to tell you about how to use our tests most optimally in your healthy dogs, in your dogs who, as a screening tool, so that you can get things early. We're going to walk you through A to Z on canine cancer and the new QVet cancer test. And for me, my name is Devin DeVoue. You can follow me on LinkedIn. I'm Devin DeVoue there. That's DeVoue. I am, if nothing else, happy to talk about this, happy to field any questions, comments, concerns. I'm super transparent. So, I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to be honest and I'm always going to want to steer, the veterinary community in the right way. For vets, if you have any questions about how do I talk to pet owners about this? Right. Do you have any marketing collateral, posters, brochures, things like that? You can hit me up. I'm good for all that. I'm good for all those things. I write them. I design them mostly myself. So I am, emotionally attached to these materials, and because I want to make sure that there's no stone left unturned. I wanted that you hear this podcast, you reach out to me via email or via LinkedIn. You say, I want some brochures because I want to start using this today. And I want you to be able to do that without having to question anything. So please reach out to me, reach out to Volition Veterinary, reach out to Volition Veterinary through me. We would be happy to answer all your questions about canine cancer screening.
I love that. Devin, you could spend your time with anybody. We thank you for spending your time with us. Last question for you, Devin. How do you make your pets feel like family?
Wow, great question. Great question. I'll tell you something that I do with Ava that is, I don't have any human children myself, but I'll tell you something I do with Ava that makes me feel like she is my actual child. Whenever I get an Amazon package, this is the silliest thing ever. Whenever I get an Amazon package, I'll sit on the bottom step wherever Ava is. I'll say, "Want to see what's in the package?" And then she'll walk over, and then she'll inspect it, she'll sniff it, and then I'll open it, and she'll help me take the things out. And it's something, I don't even know where we started with this, but it is one of my favorite moments. I think I order from Amazon 40% because I enjoy getting the package, and I enjoy how she goes, "Hey, did we get something?" I'll sit here, I'll wait until you tell me to come over. I don't know. She's a curious dog, and I think indulging in that in a very, in a sort of silly way is really fun. And that ties me, it just makes it a little bit closer. I love it.
Devin, thanks for being here with us. Thank you for sharing with us.
No, thank you guys for having me. And I'll come back anytime you ask. I have so many more stories about me putting on costumes. I would love to tell you.
You got it. We're going to book you for next week.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening to Pets Are Family. You can find us on all the channels now. Yes, all the channels now. So make sure you share us with your friends, your families, and your coworkers, and anybody that has a pet. Make sure you like us, give us your feedback, tell us if anything that you want us to talk about, all that fun stuff. You can reach me at jessica@petsourfamily.net or trisha@petsourfamily.net. Thank you for everything that you guys do, but make sure you like us, subscribe, check us out on YouTube. You can always see what we're up to. And we want to thank all of our sponsors, all of the people that support us. We love every one of you, and we can't thank you enough. And remember, check out Moose's March. We're doing a big webinar on November 2nd, and we want everyone to come. We're going to be talking about pet cancer, and we have some amazing folks that are going to be doing this webinar. So come check us out, moosesmarch.com, moosesmarch.com. Come check us out. Talk to you guys soon. We'll see you next week. Bye.